The big question facing humanity is, can we save ourselves? In his interview with Russell Brand, Dr. Jordan Peterson suggests that we can.
There's nothing that's not within our grasp now, Russell, as a species. We can do whatever we want. Now we have to figure out what we should do. And then we have to figure out how to communicate that in a way that's motivating to everyone, so everyone's on board. That's the problem that faces us.
So, can human beings do anything we want? I believe that Dr. Peterson's statement is a reasonable assertion. The scientific and technological development we have experienced in the last century is evidence to the capability of human beings. We have reached unprecedented levels of intellectual competence, and our capacity for learning and creating is accelerating with each generation. We are now capable of leaving the boundaries of the earth and real-time worldwide communication. We are definitely intellectually capable of envisioning and creating utopian societies based on the best of our virtues: honesty, justice, peace, and love. But for some illogical reason, we are committed to zero-sum civil models built on greed, hate, exploitation, and violence. Our relentless obsession and commitment to this apocalypse scenario is so ingrained in us that we can see no other future. We constantly make decisions to accelerate our own extinction, and we certainly don't use our advanced intelligence for effective conflict resolution as we continue to apply this barbarian model of violence and war to resolve our national and international differences.
UVA surveyed 2012 voters, half of whom voted for Trump, the other half who voted for President Joe Biden, in late July in order to better understand the growing split between Democratic and Republican parties. The results show a country at ideological war with itself. More than half of the surveyed Trump voters, approximately 52%, said the situation is such that I would favor a red and blue states seceding from the union to form their own separate country. Approximately 41% of Biden voting respondents answered similarly.
We are facing some unprecedented global threats, and we need competent and collaborative global leadership if we are to overcome these challenges. So it's not the best time for the country recognized as the most powerful nation in the Western Hemisphere, the flag bearer of democracy, and our global peacekeeper to be at war with itself. The fabric of democracy is being ripped apart. Socioeconomic stress is a global reality, and there is growing distrust in leadership everywhere.
I think we got to redefine politics. If each party is only about preservation of party, well, I'm almost arguing that's undemocratic. If you're only there to, by hook or by crook, preserve your party, you're leaving out 50% of people. So I think politics needs a redefining. Look, are the parties so extreme right now that they're going to walk their way to extinction? I don't know. What I fear is, great nations aren't taken over from the outside. They implode. Civil war. That's the big fear for me, for the country, is this path we're going.
The fear expressed by Matthew McConaughey in this clip is felt by millions of people all over the world. And there's no sign that we have any sincere intent on getting off this path of self-destruction. We have established that we have the intellectual competence to do anything we want, and that includes the ability to fix the problems that we have created. So why do we continue with these historically destructive models of business and leadership? Two factors that have the biggest impact on our decisions and performance, whether individually or collectively, are competence and character. So the only logical conclusion is that we have a collective character or a cultural problem. Some sociologists, academics, and other parties suggest that the problem is our systems and structures. It is clear that our leadership structures and systems are dysfunctional, and that's been clear for decades. But systems, structures, and policies did not create themselves, nor can they change themselves. that is dependent on the will of man.
Let's answer these other questions about purpose of democracy. All right, what is progress? How about this question? Do we really want to be a United States of America? And I don't say that with arrogance or condescension. It's a question we got to answer. What is leadership? Why is our nation's trust level so low with our leaders, with ourselves, with each other?
If we carefully examine the historical outcomes of our leadership systems, we will find that any leadership system, whether dictatorship, democracy, autocracy, plutocracy, that falls in the hands of self-serving leaders have the same outcomes: exploitation, abuse, and social unrest. The fact is that all leadership models have their faults and their virtues. It's the competence, character, and intent of the individuals holding leadership positions that determine the quality of life of citizens. Benevolent leaders will do what is in the best interest of all the people. In this clip, the wise Satish Kumar outlines the root cause of the problem in an interview with Russell Brand.
Our end should be human well-being and planetary well-being, and the means should be money and economy and a kind of industry and production. But at the moment, the end goal has become the production, consumption, economic growth, materialism, and means are nature and humans. So we are treating humans as if they were tools, they were instruments of making profit. If you are not making profit for a company, you are sacked. And so turning human beings and turning nature into tools and instruments of profit and economic growth is the basic problem, which I think left-wing and liberal people and so on have not quite understood. So social justice movement has to be rooted in environmental justice and spiritual values. Then social justice movement will be strong and holistic.
Our only hope for the preservation of human civilization is to face the truth about the root cause of our problems. We have no more time for denial or hypocrisy. The root cause of the problem is a historical absence of social consciousness amongst the ruling caste. This is not a problem of poor systems or policies. We human beings created the systems and policies and can change or amend them anytime we want. We pretend to be constrained by precedent and policies as a matter of convenience, and then we arbitrarily change them when convenient. There is no sincere intent at the top of society to change anything unless there's profit in it. How do you convince a cult of people consumed by greed and power who see human beings as tools for profit or collateral damage to do the right thing?
Pennsylvania Republican Party is now planning to meet to discuss possible censure for Senator Pat Toomey. He has already been censured by several county parties in his state. Here is the chair of Pennsylvania's Washington County Republican Party on why Toomey should be censured.
We did not send him there to vote his conscience. We did not send him there to do the right thing or whatever.
All right, so they don't want him to vote his conscience and they do not want him to do the right thing. Don't do that. That's not Republican.
This is a problem of right and wrong, good and evil. And the solution is in elevating our spiritual and moral consciousness. Our biggest challenge is that there's no interest in doing the right thing at the top of society. The only interest is in doing what is beneficial to me. So how can we ever achieve peace on earth and goodwill to all men when the top of humanity is devoid of conscience? We must achieve the impossible, eliminate civil hypocrisy, and elevate the social consciousness of the ruling caste so they can recognize and do the right thing. A transformation of that scale would require, amongst other things, long-term integration of spiritual intelligence into our education system and our corporate training initiatives. We are programmed to operate from a mindset of what's in it for me. That must be changed to what's in it for us.